Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bug and I'm coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. We're continuing our careers. This is the second video for today, trying to make up for yesterday's miss a little bit. So, without further ado, let's get started. There's one thing I would like to check, and that our tire is down, right? That's rolling? It is. Alright. Alright, as long as the tire's rolling, we're good. And right away we start off with umpteenth amount of loading lag. I was really hoping that would be fixed better with the new 64-bit edition. But what can you do? This is not going to be fun. Let me turn this way to make sure I try and get whatever loading I can done. Let me out! I'm just going to go. Okay. So apparently I need to do the brake on this one. If you don't know what the brake trick is, I will explain it soon as I get rolling here. Boy, my keyboard needs to be cleaned. Just noticed. Alright, so the keyboard trick is, or the brake trick, I say keyboard because I use the enter key on my keyboard, numeric pad, as the emergency brake. But the emergency brake trick for the truck is this. Even in first gear, a trailer will be too heavy for you to get rolling. And I found that even when you use the standard brake, it still doesn't work quite as well. And when you end up trying to accelerate, your truck begins to roll backwards. Well, your truck rolls backwards, the engine tries to engage forwards, it doesn't work, your engine stalls, and you end up to a point where you can't move. I don't know why I moved into this lane. But you end up at a point where you can't move at all. There we go. And every time you try and roll forwards, you're just going to end up rolling backwards. So what you do... This is a horrible corner, but it's okay. So then what you end up doing is you man, I've got myself so lost right now. So in order to overcome that, you set the emergency brake and then basically just floor it. Yeah? Sometimes I forget that speed's a factor when turning. But you set your emergency brake and you floor it. And your engine idle noise will stop. You won't hear anything revving up or anything like that. Your engine will stop making noise. Yeah, that's a cool little silence over there. But once you release the emergency brake after you go full throttle, you'll just I'm so distracted right now, and I apologize. My mind won't stay with what I'm trying to put forth, and it's really, really aggravating to me. Okay, first off, game, you should be getting better frame rate here, but I guess not. So let me try and explain this again from the beginning when I'm not so distracted and concentrating. What you do when you're on a steep hill and can't go forward, your truck constantly rolls backward. Put on the emergency brake, release your regular brake, and floor it. Everything will go quiet as your truck tries to go forward but can't because the emergency brake's on. Then while holding the throttle down, you release the emergency brake and your truck will not roll backwards. It'll just push forward with whatever power it has. And that will prevent you from rolling back, stalling out, not being able to go anywhere. That's what I was trying to say without stumbling over my thoughts every 2 seconds. I really don't know what's up today. The game just is like, nope, I don't want to work right. I don't feel like it. I mean, I suppose it could be worse, but it's not like it's very good right now either. I love the graphics glitching out on these maps. I don't know if that's... or these signs, rather. I don't know if that's, I was braking, whatever. I don't know if that's me or if it's the game. And at the rate things are going, it's like me and the game. I mean, seriously, the game just does not want to perform right now. I'm hoping this wall disappears in a minute. Apparently not. Oh, well, there it is. Which, this is kind of stupid, but... hard stop, hard stop, hard stop! Okay. I'm going to see if the frame rate will recover. Just a minute. Well, if it stays stable, it has. Like I said, I don't know what it is sometimes. And it's really, really aggravating. It's just the frame rate will fall, and then it just doesn't want to come back at all. Like now, it's already gone back down. And it's just like, without recording, without fraps, I get... between 55 and 65 frames per second, no problem. And I have fraps, so it records at 60, if it can. But just the way it's set up right now, and the way things are going right now, I'm getting 30 or less. You know, I've gotten up to about 38, and I've been down as low as like 25. And I don't get it. I don't get why Fraps strangles the frame rate so much on this game. I've played games that are a lot more graphic intense than this, and it performs just fine. The hell was that? I also remember I didn't get a new chassis for the truck. I was going to. I was going to pick up a new chassis for the Volvo, try and get a downloadable one, and I forgot. You know, something that I wonder if it'll ever make its way into Euro Truck is load hazards or load difficulties, yeah? Where your driving can do more than damage a load. You know, I don't know if it'll be possible at any point, but you see, like I'm doing now, racing around like this, this is obviously highly dangerous when towing any load flying around too quickly. And so there should be things where if you don't adhere to certain rules, then you run a risk of not just damaging your load, but having your load shift, having your load having straps snap, and all kinds of things that easily could be done and just haven't been. You know, I remember the only time I've ever seen something like that happen was when they were still mass producing pineapples, canned and fresh pineapples here in Maui, and we had all kinds of pineapple trucks. This one pineapple truck was heading towards the cannery, and it was going to take a corner, and in the process of taking the corner, one of the straps on the back of the truck actually came off, and the whole load shifted very dangerously in my direction. The driver, in his infinite wisdom, proceeded to take the corner, which put all the stress on the load, going in the direction it already was. But he took it extremely slowly and decided to limp his way to the factory, the cannery. Now, I'm guessing he made it because I didn't see anything on the news that said he didn't make it. But I think it was incredibly dangerous for him to continue. You know, even despite where he was, which was trying to make a left-hand turn. He could have stopped and gotten out and seen if there's anything he could have done to stabilize the load, which is what I feel he should have done. Even, you know, try and put the strap back over it and try and cinch it back down, then maybe limp your way there, rather than continue to drive. But either way, it worked out for him, I guess. But it was a very, very precarious position, sitting there. I forget what I was driving at the time, but having this giant load of pineapples shift in your direction. I mean, those, we're talking tons upon tons of fruit, you know? And it would have crushed my car. It was a bit worrisome, to say the least. That's why I always took my buses, the problems with them, fairly seriously. You know, I know I talk about Park Trans, but I don't think these are the videos to do it. A company I used to work for. I don't know if they're still in business anymore, and like I said, they were making vast improvements. Very vast improvements at the time that I did end up leaving them. But they had a lot of problems. When I worked here, when I was working here, the worst thing I ever had to deal with, and I do mean the absolute worst, was incredibly dangerous. And it was, I think I may have mentioned this before. I had to pick up this busload of people and take them, I forget where. Wasn't anywhere close. And, wait, does this look like an interesting road? I had to pick up this busload of people and take them, I forget where, but wasn't close, in this bus that had supposedly been pre-checked by maintenance, okay? I come to find out, basically, that pre-checked by maintenance, I was really trying to avoid that. I'm not doing very good fine-wise on this trip, am I? I found out that being pre-checked by maintenance meant the truck was the bus was started and ready to roll, basically. I mean, that's just how bad it was. I didn't want to hit the pylon. That might have actually really damaged my truck. I should be on the inside lane, obviously, if I'm going to be dealing with this much winding, but it's not really that much better because now you got to deal with this side. But anyways, the bus. I got into it and I started driving it, and I didn't have anywhere that I needed to stop for any period of time. So I didn't really notice what was happening. That, and I trusted that the buses had already been inspected. They did this at where I worked because when it was real busy, like you had a bunch of cruise ships coming in, or you had a bunch of big parties coming in by plane, what they would end up doing is having maintenance inspect all the buses so that you could just go, your bus would be ready. You didn't have to waste time inspecting it. I think I'm going to get fuel here. So I got into the bus and I was driving it and I really didn't notice, and I had put all the passengers onto the bus. And I drove out, and this was when there was a bunch of cruise ships. There had been a bunch of cruise ships come into the harbor. And I had one of the older buses, but I didn't mind the older buses. I actually was more comfortable in them, and in many cases the older buses ran better than some of the newer ones. So I was okay with that. But I got to this red light and I stepped on the brake, and I just happened to catch out of the corner of my eye my air gauge for my brakes. And I watched said air gauge drop alarmingly fast. An air gauge is supposed to fill up on the bus, on the coaches that we're using, to 120 pounds of pressure per square inch, 120 psi. And then it's okay to drop down to as far, I believe, as 90 psi. Then after 90 psi, the compressor kicks in and pumps air back into it, back up to 120. Well, I watched this gauge go 120, 110, 100, 90, 80, 70. It plummeted like a stone. And because of that, I had to take my foot off the brake and engage the anchor lock, the emergency brake, so that the pump could catch back up and refill the tank. I had a massive leak. I had a dangerous leak. A bus is not supposed to lose, while the brakes are engaged, more than 3 pounds of pressure per second. I forget, per 10 seconds? It's been a long time since I've driven, but something like that. It's like per 10 seconds. And this thing went from 120 to 70 in like 7 and didn't recover. Lovely. I'm not answering it. I apologize for that, but, life happens. I don't have my own little den where I record in. That's just not going to happen. Just no room in this house at all. Can't be helped. So, anyways, I hit the anchor lock, and I knew right away that this bus should not be on the road for any reason. At all. None. And I called up the base yard, and I said, hey, look, and I tried to say it, so I tried to say it at first, so I wouldn't alarm any passengers. And I said, I'm having issue with these brakes. So they're losing air a bit too fast. Is there any way that I might be able to get a replacement bus? I said, I know it's a bit of a hassle, but I'd feel a lot better, if I could get something that's, a little bit better running. Trying to make it sound like a small thing, like it's important but small. My base yard said, okay, you're having brake issues? I said, yeah. I said, I'm losing air a little bit too fast. And they said, well, and this seems like the response of everybody, and I mean everybody who runs businesses like this. Well, can you finish your run? And I was kind of like, not really, again, trying not to alarm my passengers. I said, the air loss seems fairly significant to me, and I really think that, hey, floating, chopped off trees. Awesome. I said, oh, I guess those are the tops? I don't know. The funds of a map mod. We gotta start looking for a place to rest soon. And I said, so I was just basically telling him, I could really use that's what I thought I was seeing. Wow, this part is... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop the recording. I meant to grab a screenshot. I usually don't like to stop in the middle of the highway, but I meant to grab a screenshot of that, not stop the video. And they said, well, just try and complete your run, and, then take the bus directly to maintenance. And at this point, I was losing my patience. I said, look, this bus had supposedly been pre-checked, and if it had, it wouldn't be on the road right now. I really need a replacement bus. And we really don't have one right now. We just need you to try and complete your run. And then finally, I kind of lost it. I didn't yell, but I was angry, and I was gritting my teeth at this point. I said, listen, this bus is losing pressure at an alarming rate, and the pump cannot keep up. When I sit at a red light, I lose air faster than it can be replaced. And I'm not talking slowly. I'm talking, I lost, let's see, 30... I lost 50 pounds of pressure in 5 seconds, and the pump did not recover. I had to engage the anchor lock in order for the pump to bring the brakes up. And I said, if I have an issue on the road, I'm concerned about being able to stop or keep the bus in control. Or worse off, I'm worried that something's going to happen where the air is just going to bleed out, and my brakes are going to end up locking up while I'm on the road. I need a replacement bus. And of course, the answer I got is, well, we don't have one. You're just going to have to make do with what you have. Just drive slow and careful, and then drop the bus. 40 people. I had 40 people on a bus that by DOT standards should not be on the road. Now, I know that a lot of vehicles, if scrutinized, a lot of commercial vehicles probably would not meet DOT standards. But I mean, this was a glaring safety issue. This wasn't the bus was losing air a little too quickly. This was the bus was losing air at an alarming rate, and the pump could not recover it. And they basically forced me to finish the run in a bus that was unsafe. I could have rested there. I don't know why. I'm involved in my talking. That's all right. I still got some time. And we're on highways, so we'll probably find one soon enough. So I ended up finishing the run, fortunately, without incident, having to use the anchor lock at every red light that I came to. And I managed to get it back. But I'll never forget that day where I was basically told that I need to take these people. I could have, at any point, found a police officer, pulled over, told him what was going on with the bus. Of course, the road. Game. Hey! Alright, how is that my fault? You guys saw that. That's this map mod, guys. It's the map mod or the traffic mod, one or the other, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with the map, where the AI is not given the full intelligence to deal with merging. He just continued to pull over despite the fact that I was already next to him. I'll tell you right now, that better not have damaged my freaking trailer. Doesn't say that it did, doesn't mean that it didn't. I really need to find a rest point. Yeah, but I could have gotten that bus easily barred from the road, and the company would have been in major trouble. And in truth, I really feel like that's what I should have done. That's what I feel like now. Back then, it was my job, and I needed my job, so I did what I was told. But I did make a note on the maintenance record that was in the bus that the bus was leaking air at an alarming rate. I notified base, was told to continue the run anyways, despite continuous protests about the brake issues. So that way, if anything did happen, and it was the brake's fault, I noted the time, and I wrote it down. So hopefully it would help cover my ass if anything went wrong. That's basically what I was hoping for. I need to look at the map. Man, I got so many things I need to clean up. Alright, yeah, it's not far. There's a nice rest stop right up ahead. And so if anything went wrong, and the company, for whatever reason, decided they were going to try and blame me, I had written down that there were problems with the brakes that were not noted on the maintenance pre-check, that I had called, I had complained multiple times and protested that I was being forced to drive a vehicle that was unfit for the road. But unfortunately, nothing like that came to be needed, and everything turned out okay in the end. Yes. Yawn. We're here. Alright. Oh. I'm too far forward. There we go. Hey, rain. All right. Just what we needed. All right, so, I don't know. Despite the game not wanting to cooperate very much, we still did pretty okay. Speeding tickets, yeah, okay, I'll deal with them. But that accident, man, again, not my fault. I'm starting to get a little disillusioned with Truck Sim Map at this point, because they have some really nice areas, but God, man, maybe there's an update. I need to go look, but honestly, those trees, the signs, I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep going with this or not. Only time will tell. But for now, we are going to keep going with it. I mean, I could just do the vanilla, but I like the challenges. You know, I like the steep hills and the winding roads and things like that. That's what this map brings. And I don't know how much of this is on Pro Mod. There's also Rust Map. I don't know. Maybe I'll switch. Maybe I won't. I have no idea. But anyways, that's going to be me done for this, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Until next time, this is going to be One Big Bug Out. I'm going to be signing out. I'll see you then.